Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to support the statement by Senator Cherogei. This statement should worry Kenyans. We cannot have an audit carried out, and we are told by the Auditor General that there's an issue of accountability or up to 7 billion shillings. Mr. Speaker, it is about time, and this is why I always say that statements are brought to this House, not just for the sake of one committee investigating it, but to be able to assist this Senate or Parliament develop legislations that can ensure accountability. Mr. Speaker, it is quite clear that there is a lack of accountability. There is opaque legal framework to be able to oversight e-citizen and a private entity. And this is why I differ from my colleague, the distinguished senator from Homa Bay. I agree with him that there's nothing wrong with a private entity doing business. But when it comes to revenue being collected for the entire nation, where we have, I think, a minimum of about 22,000 services, then at that point we must ask ourselves, what have we done as a parliament to be able to develop legislation that oversight that service being given to a private entity? Madam Speaker, if you look at countries like Sweden, Estonia, Denmark, they have legal framework that assist the government be able to collect that revenue. Singapore is one of them. But here, and I can tell you I'm speaking out of experience on this matter, legislations are drafted, engineered by the private sector. One of those legislations is the legislation on the healthcare. It is all engineered by the private sector. So now, when you look at the regulations that are regulating the e-citizen platform, there's not a single one. It cuts across different ministries, not even the Ministry of ICT. So, distinguished senators, it's about time that we either amend the PFM Act, look at Article 206 of the Constitution that talks about the Consolidated Fund, and ensure that all these 22,000 government services, that money goes directly to the Consolidated Fund, but not to a webmaster for them to collect a service fee of 50 shillings that they cannot really account for it. Those are some of my biggest problems that I see in this country, where there is opaque legal framework, lack of accountability. You know, you cannot compare. There's no way we can say that we are leapfrogging. We are not leapfrogging. What we are doing is that we are lining certain individuals' pockets. That is a fact. Madam Speaker, the things that Senator Cherogei discussed here really goes around three sectors. One is the technology being used. That technology must be owned by the government. Why do we have an ICT authority, yet we cannot rely on it to be able to develop technology that the government can be able to use? If ICT authority cannot be able to develop the technology, why don't we go to the NIS? I believe last year, was it 2 years ago, we were invited by NIS. They showed us their capacity and capability in developing the land registry technology to be used, because that will be government to government. Let us now move away from this issue where we are collecting 50 shillings, but in 22,000 government services. That's a lot of money. So, Madam Speaker, it is time that this government has control. And I hope that when the Committee on Finance and Budget is going to be looking at this, I think the Committee on Public Accounts Investments, and even the committee led by, the committee led by Senator Kajwang, should go and look at it, because to be honest with you, how do you oversight e-citizen? Who has oversighted e-citizen apart from us? This time, let's not just comment on a statement, but actually take advantage of the things that we are finding out from the Auditor General, develop legislation, and finally, either set up an ad hoc committee and do away with this webmaster. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
For senators, I wish to reinstate the statements by Senator Okiya Omtata